I've got blue souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs blown. I'm gonna turn all of my stones.
Rock bottom make a man and some pressure make a gemstone. Trying to put a dollar to my name like Creflo. Naja boy, late to the game, it's in the blood flow. And I'm from the south, it's thick skin and tough bone. Big attitude through big lips with gusto. Trust no kings, that's why they tried to crush souls. But it's IGBO, when the dust blow, this old head be standing there. No silver, just gold. Crack no books on the hustle, I was born to grind. Yo, scared of your potential, I'm adorned with mine. 30 times around the sun, man, of course I shine. My legacy will not dwarf with time. And in my daughter's eyes, it's basic, I must not say quit. Every day sees a present like a Rob St. Nick. Walk a fine line between tenacious and patient. I can't slip, I'm fighting clocks and they can't win.
I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Who that soldier in the mirror? Oh, oh. Gonna turn all of my stones.
Impeccably I flow, hardest raps you know, breaking status quo, reaping what I sow, artistry like Van Gogh. Get it from my mama, hip so thick that I need tempo. Personality, spicy body banging like a bongo. Cause black women been it since Timbuktu, since Pharaoh. Sponge rollers and hot combs, lips, cheeks and brow bones. If you ain't for the culture, then please stay out of my zone. These little dummy rappers could never grace my headphones. See, I'm from a place in space where ain't no storytelling, you just had to have been there. If you want the battle, ain't no problem, say where. I got so much experience, I can't even play fair. But I'ma keep evolving and growing and hurting feelings and showing. You need endurance to go in, I got mileage on this pen. I've been busy cause I've been out here schooling all these kids. Took 3 decades to have this glow up that I did.
I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Who that soldier in the mirror? Oh, oh. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. Turn all of my
guys know, I know you guys were checking shoes last night to see if he was barefoot. Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
All right.
Allegedly!
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Here's a brief disclaimer for tonight's show. Let's watch.
That's ignorant! Allegedly, that's ignorant! Ignorant.
Judgment, Arthur.
Chloe, you read my thoughts. You've got the shinin.
You mean shining?
Shh! You wanna get sued?
Judgment, Arthur.
You just used that shin of yours to call me and I'll come a running. But don't be reading my mind between 4 and 5. That's Willie's time.
Hey, yo, Bob. I love it when he does that.
Let's watch.
Don't get me back to good bullshit.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. And it's so good to see all of you guys tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Hey Chuchi, thank you so much for being here. And thank you for everyone that hits the like button. It really helps the channel out and I really appreciate it every time I see the likes and how many I get and things like that. It really makes me feel good and I know that you guys are enjoying the content. So thank you so much. And it helps out with the algorithm. And we are an adult show here. We don't do anything out of the usual, but we also do cover adult topics and viewer discretion is always advised. So thank you, Chuchi. Yes, we have a mature audience because we have mature topics here that we go over. And it's very, very important that we remember that it's not for everyone. especially not children, because there is a YouTube Kids, and whenever I set my content up, it's always, for the selected adult audience. So, and thank you so much, Chuchi, for all the hearts. So we got green for Sebastian, blue for Devlin. We also have eagles flying in the chat for a new case that we are going to be covering, and that's Zachary. Um, Gosh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm forgetting his last name because um, my brain is completely fried, if I'm being completely honest. Um, and I want to make sure I pronounce it correctly for you guys because we're going to go over it. I just haven't had a chance to do my research that I'm used to doing. Although, I have been receiving information for that. So I'm so glad. And when we asked his Aunt Cindy, you know, what she would like for the, hearts, what color heart, and she said that he likes eagles, so that's what we've been posting, is eagles, and you can see his missing flyer as well, and we will go over it before I get off, but Vidal, I believe it is Vidal, Zachary Vidal out of Pottsville, Pennsylvania. So that's gonna be our newest case, and so good to see you, Linda Nunley. And then also we have Purple Hearts in the chat for Summer Wells. So we've had a lot of updates in Summer Wells's case. A lot of things are popping off in that case as well. Hey, Indigo, so good to see you. Lisa Hall, thank you so much for your super sticker, and it's so good to see you. I hope you're having a great day, and thank you so much for the blue, or excuse me, the green hearts and the prayer hands in the chat. Thank you so much. Hey, Andrea, good to see you. Sprinkle Donuts here. Thank you, Sprinkle Donut. Hey, Mark Klein, good to see you. We also have Joe in the chat. Thank you, Joe. Don't feel bad, Joe. I'm so bad with the Discord. I haven't gotten it. I'm like just I'm having PTSD from the first time I had a group chat. To be honest with you, I left my own group chat because I do not do drama, so I just kind of was like Homer Simpson backing in the bushes. Craddock is Mr. Snuggle Struggle. He's Sheriff Snuggle Struggle, with all due respect, Sheriff Snuggle Struggles. I call him Snug Strugs. He's one of our players of the Sebastian Rogers case. Showtime, says Mark. And then Kiki's here. Hey, Kiki. Thank you so much for being here. So good to see you. Hey, little Miss Sharon. Good to have you here. And also, little Red is here with us. Let's see, who else do we have? Mark's giving hugs out in the chat. Hugs are always nice. Hey, Sandy. I finally emailed Sandy today, which I was really proud of myself. There's Don B. Hey, Don B. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Indigo, Discord is like a forum that we can all chat on, and I wanted to add it to, like a tier in order for you guys to get, something out of my second tier. Because some of you all pay for just like the regular membership. And coming into the new year, we're just going to be changing things around, right? I really want to hit home that in the chat, I'd like to see more talking about the topic of conversation, because it's important, especially when we have family members in here that are listening, or friends, or local people who know these people that we're talking about. I really want to keep it on the subject of the victims. Right. We want to be victim oriented here. Don B says Discord is where a lot of fake people go to try and be mean to YouTubers. Well, I got a hate comment today on one of my videos. I try to go back and check, and that's why I'm so bad with the email too, because I'm always going back to check my comments, and oh my gosh, I'm going all these places to check for things. Hey, CC, but you know, um, yeah, I mean, the Discord, I've heard like it can be a mean place. I want my Discord to be all true crime all the time, right? I want it to just be professional true crime. I want people who are interested in these cases and who are victim oriented to try to help us, solve things. So, I want super sleuths in there. Hey, Denise Harris, good evening, sweetheart. Hey, Jen, there's our Jen. Hey, Jen, good to see you. I want people who care in there, and I don't want people who are gonna, mess around with other people and, bully them around. Lady Freedom, I'm just really trying to build a Devlin Discord group to supplement your channel if possible. Yeah, I mean, and I need all the help I can get with Devlin's case. Some of the things, are unraveling. I'm going to be telling you guys as it comes in. I'm trying to paint a picture of Devlin's life and how it was for Devlin, right? And good, bad, or indifferent, however it makes me feel, which mostly it's bad. It makes me feel really, really bad. Um, Even more so when I put myself in Devlin's shoes and I think about how much it could have been for him. Just to deal with all of that all day, every day, nonstop, right? So if somebody doesn't like the way I'm representing their town, maybe they shouldn't represent themselves like that on Facebook, because these are, things that are being sent to me, right? So, and then I do a little digging on it and I'm like, holy shit balls, this is something, this is really something, right? Like I've never seen anything like this in my life. And it's odd to me, right? Because like I'm from kind of from the area, 3 hours away is where I grew up. So like I can't believe that that wacky shit's going on 3 hours away from where I grew up. So I'm sorry you're offended. I am too, you know. Absolutely, Jen. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Of course, we're going to talk about Zachary. I wanted to make sure I was saying his last name right, and I didn't want to say it wrong. And that's the thing, guys. We are going to be adding more people to our caseload, I guess we can call it. But I want to be able to present these cases for family members. Hey, Hope Floats, how you doing, sweetheart? I really want to present these over in order to help and figure out if we can make a difference, right? I mean, I think every little bit makes a difference. We never know what we're going to find out, and everything kind of needs to be examined. The home life to me is very important for any of us, right? Our home life is where we hang our hat at the end of the day. For Devlin, it seemed like he pretty much ran the streets as long as he wasn't, around anybody else. He just, people didn't want to be bothered by him. Sebastian led the similar life, but he was a little bit younger, a couple of years younger, and he was very, very sheltered, especially when he was at his mom's house, right, with his stepfoot. And then when he would go over on the weekends to his dad's house, there was a little bit different environment there, right? Sebastian was able to be himself a little bit more. They would go out, excuse me, and they would play Magic the Gathering. They would do things like that, Dungeons and Dragons. They were playing video games, and then Sebastian would go home from his dad's house and he was back to a very stringent routine of you're not allowed to use the internet. You can only have a phone on your use the calculator on your phone, things like that. So he was very locked down in Chris's words, right? The mullet man, Mr. Mullet Man was, Mr. Chris, and, not stepdad, not, an endearing type of a name. It was Mr. Chris, right? And Mr. Chris didn't like Sebastian even being on the internet to do his homework. Like Sebastian was getting his ass chewed, in my opinion, when when he was doing his FFA requirements and courses online. It's extremely difficult to do courses online. Some people do better with in-person learning. I'm one of those people. It's much harder for me to achieve something like that online, and I think that it's important for people to recognize that Sebastian was doing that, and then he was also being scolded for it. On the other side of things, when we talk about Devlin Tait, he too was trying to do the right thing, and many times he was being scolded for it. So, in my opinion, Devlin really didn't even know what was right and what was wrong, because you had the adults in his life acting like complete children and going back and forth and manipulating, and it's showed in the text messaging that I presented to you all, right? Um, and I've got more text messages and information, but I'm trying to put it all in order to present it to you that way. And that way you can go back and look at it, and that way law enforcement can go back and look at it and see it for what it is, through your perspective, so thank you, Jen. Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you. I'm trying. It's not easy, right? Because, um there's just something that's not adding up, and it's like, when we look at Sebastian Rogers' case again, we have this comparison that we can make. We have one child who is having a very hard time of it. You have another child that's having a very hard time of it. Granted that they're only a couple of years apart, but we see where it's the victim, right? Blame Sebastian, blame Devlin. But did anybody ever take a good hard look in the mirror at themselves? Did anybody take a look at these text messages and think to themselves, wow, that was really out of character and I shouldn't have acted that way? Anyone? Anyone? I doubt I'll have hands raised in the chat. And I don't expect you guys to. I'm just saying, you know. Well, great. Little Miss Sharon says it's awesome to spend the day with my favorite ladies. Aw, I'm so glad. I hope you all are going to have a good Thanksgiving and, be with your family. Be thankful for what you have. Be thankful for the people in your life. Be thankful for the little blessings. And sometimes we have to be thankful for even the things that didn't happen that we thought would happen, because those are blessings too. Right? So I hope everybody's in a good feeling mood for the holidays. I really do, because we can feel both types of ways, right? We can feel for other people, like, people like Seth who aren't going to have their child at their dinner table. Jessica won't have her son at her dinner table. Devlin's family, although if I look at Easter, there's some issues. So I don't know what kind of a holiday Devlin would have had if he was here. And to me, that makes me want to fight for him and not anybody else. Not the Tates, not his mom, but Devlin. Who was the last person to see Devlin? So the last people to see Devlin were Sabrina and Tamra. So the two that he was living with. Sabrina's boyfriend, Will Hartman, was also living in the house at that time, along with a little boy who belongs to Sabrina and her ex husband. And those were the people that were last in the house that morning. And the problem, like, even Shauna reached out to me in the comments, and she had some questions about the timeline. And the problem with this timeline is that we have the police coming out and saying that 8:21 a.m. is when Devlin left his house. You have Tamara coming out saying that Devlin left the house around 7:30, 7:28 to be exact, and then he headed over to the Family Dollar and was seen by an ex-coworker of his rummaging in the dumpster in order to get cans for money to turn in at Carl's for money. And then you have Tamara saying that he used his EBT or bridge card, food card, at Carl's at 8:21 a.m. So, none of this adds up, because you have either he left at 7:28 or he left at 8:21, but you can't have it both ways, because he couldn't be using his bridge card if he went on foot to Carl's. So why are I tend to believe the police. I'm not going to believe Tamara, who saw him last. The police came out and made a public statement stating that Devlin left the house at 8:21 a.m. Now, if that's incorrect and they made a mistake on that, okay. But until they come out and they say we made a mistake on that, I'm gonna believe that he had to have left the house at 8:21 a.m., like law enforcement is telling us. Another problem with him leaving at 7:28, like Tamara says, is that he wouldn't have had time to go, get in the dumpster, look around for cans, gather them up, put them in some sort of a garbage bag or a Walmart sack or whatever. He wouldn't have time to do all that and then still make it to Carl's to use his bridge card at 8:21 a.m. He would have had to walk from his house all the way into town, all the way down by French Fry Lane. And those of you who are local, you know what I'm talking about. He would have had to walk all the way over there. And then he would have had to get in there looking for the cans, found the cans that he needed, as many as he wanted to get or he could get. And then he would have had to get out of there and then go over to Carl's and turn them in. There's no way he would have had enough time to accomplish all of that because his walk takes him about 30 to 45 minutes to walk to town. So it's very, very, oh, hold on. Mr. Biggles is coughing. So, sorry guys. I don't know. Mr. Beagles gets his, well, Django, I call him Mr. Beagles sometimes. He gets his allergies going at this time of year for some reason. Oh, are you Joe? I didn't know that. Yeah, I mean, it's like I've just never seen anything like it. It's so sad, Don. It's so sad. And I've been trying to get information from people, and people are not being straightforward with me. We'll just put it that way. And I know they're not. I know they're not being straightforward with me. And that's okay. I mean, I'm not, anybody, but if I'm trying to figure out a timeline, I would appreciate some help. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Jen. I mean, and Jen says that she's in Tennessee, so she always brings it back to her homeland. But yeah, we need to talk about other missing cases. We do. And there's a lot of people out there that are just dying to have that coverage, right? Like, please talk about my loved one. I'll never forget our friend Jana. I mean, she always like caught me off guard because she'd come in and do a $5 super chat and say, could you talk about my sister? And I just remember that, and I look up to people that do that kind of advocacy like that because it's not easy. They're not having a good time doing that. They're like begging, please take my family's case. I need you to. And so whenever somebody asks me to, I know I will never turn it down. Never, because it's so important. Um, it's like everybody deserves that, but not everybody knows where to go to look for coverage and things like that. Once you have the resources, you need to get on it. There's no, um, you know, if ands or buts about it. You just have to go. You know, yeah, super sketch, super sketch, Jen. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, you know, um, I tried to call. I talked with Detective Castle. I gave her what I knew. I told her about the podcast that I'm going to be doing, you know, investigative journalism. I'm using air quotes, because I'm just a true crime fanatic. That's all I am. I'm a true crime addict. I can't, I live, breathe, and eat the cases that I'm covering. I mean, I really dive into them, and I'm here to tell the story from the way I see it. And I have all of you guys who are so awesome and bring so much to the table to help. And so I asked her questions about the pings. I asked her questions about the timeline, using his card, the footage at Carl's. Nothing could be denied. Nothing was confirmed or denied. Nothing. And I asked, where's the best place I can get updates for Devlin's case? And Detective Castle said there won't be any updates in his case until we find him. So I had to respect that. And I think that he does deserve more. I along with the bad, I get a lot of good, and I did see someone emailed me today, and I emailed them back who was local, and, I just explained to them that I'm not sure if LE took their phones or any of that. I would assume they would. I know for sure that there was investigations into people's Google accounts. So, I know that for a fact. So if they're willing to do that, I'm sure they're on the phone situation. Um, so, you know. Chuchi says, I feel like I've done more research than LE at this point, in my opinion. Yeah. Well, and the thing is that LE doesn't understand. It's funny. They put their updates out on Facebook, but how are they not on Facebook, like peeping these people? Because that's all the posts I've ever gotten from people that send me is from Facebook, right? Why aren't they out there peeping these people and seeing what they're doing and all the fuckery they're causing in this kid's case? Or how about the fact that people will put in a tip on Facebook and not even call the police? That's very disheartening. I mean, I'm giggling, I'm laughing, I'm like, but I'm just in disbelief, really, because so if you have a sighting of a child, you're gonna go take to Facebook. You're not gonna call the law enforcement agencies that are, like Ionia County Sheriff's Office holds jurisdiction. Why wouldn't you call them? You see Devlin, you say something to law enforcement, and that's doing something. See something, say something, do something. I'm adding the do something, and it's going to catch on one day. You can't just see something and say something. You need to do something, and that is getting the word out there and then do something. Call a friggin' law enforcement. What are you guys waiting for? Time is of the essence. That's why we need to get people out there searching for Devlin before it gets cold. Right? Because it's about to get really cold up there, and we need all the hunters to know about this. We just do. They were being held back. Those guys weren't being prepared for life. I agree with that, Coffee, Crime, and Cats. Thanks for being here. I love your cat. So cute. Yeah, so they weren't being prepared. They weren't being given life skills lessons. Now, I will say that Seth seemed to have worked with Sebastian more so on that. I know Katie said that she did bring him out into social situations, but it was hard for him to find friends. Um, but I agree. I think that Sebastian would have done really, really well, as would have Devlin if he would have had a little bit of help. Like, one thing that Sabrina had shared with us, and I don't know that it occurred to her or not, but you know, so I'm not trying to bash her or anything, but what she said was that she told Devlin that she would help him learn how to cook if he was home at certain times, like when she was cooking dinner, which I think is a reasonable request on her part. But sometimes with people who have autism, who are on the spectrum, you kind of have to meet them where they're at, right? So you try to do that as much as possible. And I just don't feel like, you know, that was being done enough, right? Because maybe Devlin didn't come home, on time, but maybe Devlin's sitting there and you guys just decide to spontaneously make a pizza, right? Or spontaneously make something fun and teach him how fun cooking can be and show him. And maybe he's going to grab onto it. Maybe he's going to hate it. We don't know until he tries. But giving him those options and giving him more of um, a leeway time and saying, okay, if you can't do it now, let's do it here. Now, I see getting frustrated with that situation. I do. But in the same way, it's something where you have to keep trying, especially when somebody has, that they have these issues. Why are you mad at them for it? No, no, Don, that's the thing. That's why I'm like, no, there's no way there's footage of him because nobody's seen it. And according to the family members, Tamra, Sabrina, and Matt have said that they've not seen the footage. Only law enforcement has seen the footage. And I don't believe that from them. Because why is law enforcement coming out and saying 8:21 a.m. is when Devlin left his house? Law enforcement wouldn't have said that there was a video of him at the supermarket buying food at 8:21 a.m. and then go to the public and tell us 8:21 a.m. over here. It just doesn't add up. And we're all human, even law enforcement agents are human. Hey, Faye. So yeah, there could have been a mistake, but I mean, there is no footage of that. And he did use his bridge card, but somebody else could have used it too. And I'm working with Tamara to get that information over to me. I still haven't gotten it, and I'm sure she's busy with the holidays. I get that too. But I need a little bit more help here. And Devlin was supposedly alone. So he just, what Sabrina said was she woke him up because she needed him to get up off the floor because he was sleeping on the living room floor because she needed to make breakfast for her little one. So she got him up. Devlin went and used the bathroom that morning, and he didn't say much and he left. So, or excuse me, he picked up his bedding when she got him up. He put it away. He went to use the bathroom and then he left out of the house. Um, After that, didn't say much. Tamara told me that she went into the bathroom after Devlin went to use the bathroom. So she waited till he was done and she was in there. So that's how she was up and saw him. And he did leave, they said, that morning. So those were the last two that have said they saw him physically that morning. And then supposedly he walked down over by the Family Dollar. Let me go ahead and see if I can't. Sometimes my mic gets a little crinkly when I go to this. I don't know why, if it's Google Maps deal or what it happens, but let me try to pull it up. Because that timing doesn't add up either if he left at 7:28. All right. And the problem with the Google Maps as well is that it's not going to show us it's not going to show us the route that he would have taken because he took a shortcut. So this is Devlin's house over here. He lives off Oak Ridge Drive over here. And so there's direct link access here just so you guys can see that. And then, oopsie daisy. And then he would have taken the shortcut here and just followed this all the way in to town. Over by this McDonald's. Off of French Fry Lane of all places. And then there's also, I'm trying to zoom in enough on it. I guess that's not gonna work. Oh, I think that's some McChicken. All right, so he would have been seen by the worker at this McDonald's. There it is. So again, see how this story isn't adding up and see why I get pissed? If anybody's wondering why Lady Freedom is pissed right now, is because of the shit right here. You know what? Among hate mail. Because, riddle me this. How can somebody over here see something that's going on over here? Because I can't even pull it up on the map big enough. Anybody? Anyone? Anybody gonna raise their hand? Hey, Holly. Anybody want to chime in? Help me out here? Hey, Tina girl. Hey, Mama Rissa. Good to see you, love. Yeah. Anybody want to help me out? Yeah. Cause yeah, send me some mean comments down in the comments and riddle me that though. How can somebody see? Because I was thinking it was closer over by here. So how can somebody see from here all the way over here? And how could Devlin get from, all the way over here to all the way over here and then make it over to Carl's? Because Carl's is still over here. Whoops, there it is. From Family Dollar, Carl's is right over here. So he would have had to hop in there looking for cans and stuff over here, and then he would have ended up over here. There we go, Carl's. See that? It's a short little walk. Yeah, see, it's whenever I pull up this darn map, Chuchi. Thank you for letting me know I'm crackling. So, yep, an essay in the family, 3 SROs. Yep, all that's true. Yep. Bueller. Anyone? Yeah, Tina, that's what we're working on too. There's a guy that offered his time and boats and all of that. Um, hold on one second. Wait, what, Kiki? I just got a message from Kiki. Hey, Carrie, can you help me out with that? Because I'm a little bit, I'm just wondering what the heck is going on with this. Kiki, I don't see you in chat, hun. You know? That's why I say we need to talk directly to LE. None of this missing event is making sense per this family. I know. Exactly, Jen. Exactly. And that's why I was fed up, a while back, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go ahead and call. I don't see how and hold on, I'm not gonna talk while I pull it over, but how would Devlin how would somebody see Devlin if they were working at McDonald's and he was over here at the dumpsters over here? I don't get that. Like that right there don't make any sense to me. I did get on the phone with the detective. Be kind, please rewind. If you guys are coming in just now, I'm for real. I just said that, ladies. I did. And that's what's crazy to me is I've talked to them. I have talked to them and she took a report more so, about everything that I was telling her that was said in my chats. And I also pointed out to her that I'm not so sure Matt should really even have a YouTube account because all he has to do is go over to YouTube Kids and he's right there in his disgustingness, in my opinion. All right. I don't know what Kiki. I don't see you in my chat. Did Kiki get blocked? Chuji sleep most of my time from my experience talking with LE is pretty easy. They usually will speak on last scene, what time, etc. Well, Jen, if you want to give them a call, I mean, I never got a call back from Philip Pesci, but I did get a call back from, and pretty quickly too, from Castle, Detective Castle. Those are the two detectives there, and she told me she's not gonna confirm or deny anything. And I asked her about the times, I asked her about everything. Where did you guys search? All of that. And she would not say anything. Nothing about it. And I said, is there any place where I can go to get updates? Like, are you guys going to be updating the public? They haven't even done a press conference, Jen, at all. The only news footage, or the only news coverage on Devlin's case is 3 videos. That's it. And a couple of articles. but nothing. I mean, tell Kiki to go out and come back in. I just texted her. Maybe she didn't mean that text for me or something. So I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, they won't do anything, like any kind of updates, nothing. Yeah. And like I said, I just pretty much then, focus my attention on telling her what I know about what they've said in, my chats, hoping that she might take a gander and look and see, look and see what they've said. Because there's been a lot that's been said, and I don't know if that's stuff that they've told law enforcement. And like I said, I'm still waiting for a response back from Tamra about, getting the footage from Merle, that, all of this stuff. Oh, I see. Okay, thank you. All right. So it's not my channel, it's her channel. I was like, I have no idea what's going on with that, hun. Okay. Great, 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 great. Let's have 100% participation at the like. Thank you. Thank you very much, Lil Red. Uh I always thought RSOs weren't allowed to have social media. Well, and then there's another thing too, Holly, is that on Easter, Devlin supposedly went to church with Sandra, Lorraine, Matt's wife, who's also an RSO, and Devlin, and they went to church, you know, and she's an RSO, so I'm imagining there were children there at the church. Oh, Cinderella, Cinderella. I don't know. I wish I could. I wish I had something to give you because I would. I'd give it to you for you. That's like the $1,000,000 question, right? Why did CPS send him to live with the RSOs? And that's a question that I got in my email again today. Well, that's it. After you catch someone lying, Faye, we can't believe anything, not a word that they say. That's what's really tough. Yeah, no presser. No presser. And, not not a word. He is on Namus. Yeah, his I will say that Tammy got him on Namus or Sabrina did. I'm not sure which one of them, but they did do that. Yes, ma'am, they did. Absolutely. Little Miss Sharon, you're like me. I love that you'll admit it though. I just hurry up and quick go do it because I'm like, oh shoot. But I love when people remind us to hit the like because I forget because I'll get in there and start listening and I get sidetracked. No pressure, no update, no nada. Yep, in my opinion, nothing. Not a damn thing. And that is disheartening and especially and that might be the reason why you guys is, with what Cinderella was saying. They know they done messed up and everybody failed Devlin. So why would they be coming out? Nobody's going to be coming out to raise their hand. Trust me. They're going to be pointing a finger before they raise their hand. That's the problem. You know, thank you, Lori. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here, Lori. You could still use that wrench in the bushes, Lori. Just keep your eyes open. um, but I mean, it is extremely sad, and that's the thing. We're not getting the right updates. We're not getting the right information. And then you go back and you say, okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to give people the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to go check this out. And then you come up with this kind of stuff right here. Right. So I'm sorry if I was crackling, but crack-a-lacking over here, but it was for a good cause. Because I know that's annoying in people's earbuds. But you know, this is what we're dealing with here, and we have all of these large bodies of water. This is what I ask people to help me search, you know. So thanks, Jen. You know, and the problem is that it's going to get really cold, you know. There's a lot of places that could use kayaks. You know, there's a lot of places that could use boots on the ground, walking. Um, you know, it's really important because once it gets cold, it's going to be a lot harder to go out there and do all that because there's going to be a great bunch of snow and all of that. Wow. In 2024, there were 330,597 missing children's cases in the US. Think about that. Wow, Sprinkle Donut. It's amazing. There's a lot of terrain. There is, Jen. There's so much terrain. You know, where is his phone was last pinged at in the trailer park. Supposedly, it was pinged near the Parapro's house. They haven't given a specific location, except for that it was right in this area. So, you know, and it probably more so back here. Now, this is another one of Devlin's routes that he would take home, would be over here and make it over there. But then again, his scent was last right here, Bonanza Road in Tupper Creek. So that's our issue there, you know? Yeah, mama, it's crazy, right? It's just, you know, and we got to find these kids. They didn't just vanish. You know, and with Devlin, it's so much harder because there's so much there's so many people that he encountered. Unlike Sebastian, where we know that the last people that were with him is who was always with him. You know, he was in the house, you know, sheltered in the house, which, you know, that really does help and limit people and exposure because usually it is someone that knows, you know, the person. And so, but with that, you know, there was minimal amount of people around Sebastian versus the amount of people that were around Devlin. Yeah. Well, and you know, I think that we just don't know how things would have gone with Devlin and his mom, so to speak, because you know, it's very difficult at the time of when they reunited for them to have a mother-son relationship. It was very difficult, right? And that's just to be expected. Um, you know, kind of finding a middle ground, you know. No, and no updates is not good, Indigo. It's not. It's not good. It doesn't help the public figure this out, you know, or help with it at all. Aw, thank you, Jen. Jen, you're a sweetheart. There's no care with Devlin's case. It hurts my heart. I know. And the thing is that, you know, I mean, it's almost like people would rather be caught up in the drama again over giving information about Devlin, which is very disheartening in my opinion. So much so that it just kind of makes me want to cry and put my hands in the air and say, what are we going to do for this kid? You know, it's very sad. And, you know, I think that at the end of the day, all we can really do is get his name, his face out there to anyone and everyone we can. And you guys are really good at doing that. You guys are just awesome at spreading awareness, and I really appreciate you for that. The only family members that have spoken to the local news, Little Miss Sharon, are Sabrina and Tamra. So that's it. And then we're trying to reach out to Ed Golder. I mean, I haven't gotten an update from Jessica about that, but I'm hoping that she will do that because it needs to be done. I can't do it, right? Because I'm not his mom. So she needs to step up and do that. Did he have his phone with him? Don B asks. You know, he did. So apparently he had his phone with him. And this is how the story goes, which I'm not convinced that this is the story either, Don, which is it's horrible. Um, but basically the story goes that Devlin went and used his bridge card at 8:21 a.m. at Carl's, and then he went over to the laundromat to plug his phone in order to charge it so he can make calls and stuff like that. He called Sandra's house, but instead of getting Sandra, because she was also in the bathroom, um, he talked to Matt Tait. And they talked for about 30 minutes and he never made contact with Sandra. And then he supposedly just disappeared. And nobody heard from him all day. And when Sabrina posted it on Facebook, she said 13 hours at that point. And Tamara said it was more like 15 hours and 2 minutes that they didn't hear back from him. So again, that's not adding up at all. His mother, Jessica, said that his phone pinged, according to the police and what Detective Heshy and Detective Castle has said, is that his phone pinged at 11 p.m. But really quick, I want to share this with you guys. And it's going to be a dispatch audio call. Or excuse me, it's going to be, I always say it wrong, a scanner audio of the call. And just give me 1 second while I grab it. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go, guys. Just bear with me. I want to take this off of silent.
Copy your call.
Good.
It's going to be 1855 Oak Ridge Drive, cross of Walnut Lane, Caller is Sabrina Cook. She called to report her nephew missing. She said he normally goes and walks around Lake Odessa during the day, but's normally home around 7 o'clock. He hasn't been seen since 7 o'clock this morning. Was I heard from around 8:15. The Lake Odessa officer is aware and is looking around the village. But if you could check the area as well.
Okay.
Also, be advised, the aunt had said that he's got a friend, Joni Sowers, who lives in a trailer park. There's a possible address for her in the notes as well.
Okay.
2232 6436 or 7.
Security.
Clearance suspending 2232.
22 from Central. Go ahead. I ran her caller. She's got a couple of care bonds out of Iron County. I'm closing. 2232.
3416 from 395.
Good.
I can head over to 47 Mandy and check out that address, if that works with you.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks.
463 status.
Okay.
You're okay, 2237.
36 is on.
9 and 16 are Grand River Doreen Drive.
Clear 36 or 78, one of you break to go back 622.
36 full.
Clear 2239.
622 LBL.
Clear, you're out 2239.
4919 secure.
Well, secure 2242. Real still.
Clear 1 to team 6436, you clear that?
Sure, Jack.
2242.
I want to go check the address 47 Mandy. 47 Mandy no longer exists. I am going to go down to the auction barn and see if he's over there.
I'm clear 2259.
Okay, guys. So, I just want to point something else out. And of course, I'll expect the nastiness to ensue. But I don't give a crap. The dispatch said he was last heard from around 8:15. Last seen at 7 a.m. Are you guys kidding? Are you guys kidding? You really take me for the fool that you think I am, don't you? And that goes for every last one of yous. I'm not a fool. And I remember everything that's said, everything that I post.
3416, copy your call.
Good.
It's going to be 1855 Oak Ridge Drive, across of Walnut Lane. Caller is Sabrina Cook. She called to report her nephew missing. She said he normally goes and walks around Lake Odessa during the day, but's normally home around 7 o'clock. He hasn't been seen since 7 o'clock this morning.
He hasn't been seen since 7 o'clock this morning. Right? Last heard from at 8:15. And this is when it's fresh on their minds, you guys. This is the dispatch call, right? That we're hearing over the scanner. So this is when it was fresh on her mind, and she's telling everyone that Devlin usually comes home around 7 o'clock, or excuse me, is usually home by 7 o'clock, last seen at 7 o'clock this morning. But she sat up here on my podcast and told me that she saw Devlin at 7:25 leaving. That was her story. And then Tammy was in the chat at that time, and she was saying to everybody, no, he left at 8. He left at 7:35. Now, that's playing semantics to me. That's not a huge difference, but his parapro lived in the trailer park, and that's where they sent him. That's where they sent the police to. Right? And the teacher has been looked into. Yes, Don, they have that person, Joni Sowers, has been looked into. And, the thing of it is that Sabrina led the police right to where Devlin's phone pinged at 11 p.m. And his phone would have pinged in the trailer park for a reason. Yes, sir, it would have been that would have been a reason for that. And it is splitting hairs, Cinderella. But this part isn't. And the fact that law enforcement came out and said this, right? That he left the house at 8:21, and the family's saying, but he was using his phone, he was using his food card at Carl's at that time. That just doesn't add up. Just doesn't add up. Thanks, Lori. I'm glad you're here. I appreciate you listening because I know a lot of people, come over here to listen about Sebastian, and these stories are just so similar. I don't know how I cannot talk about them together. Carrie Jackson says, so Sabrina was in the vicinity of Devlin's phone at 11 p.m. Yeah, I'm thinking either it was her or she had to have had somebody else doing it. In my opinion, if she's out searching, which she said she was, and she said that she met the police out at the fire station to answer some questions or for them to interview her, so she was someplace else, that would leave either Will or Tamra. But Tamara's in a wheelchair, so, I mean, look, I don't tell anybody what they can and can't do physically or any of that. Some people can have a wheelchair and still play wheelchair basketball, and, I mean, look, people can still do stuff just because they're in a wheelchair. I don't discount that. But it would be kind of hard for her to do something fast, right? Like that, real fast. So I also have to consider that. Um, well, and I'm not sure about the PR bonds. I still have to figure out if that is Sabrina or the other call that was in there. Well, there was a couple of calls that were in this audio because it was all coming off the scanner. So Tamara says she didn't have any bonds. I don't know what to believe. To be honest with you, Carrie, I don't. Or Chuchi, excuse me, because I got your text. Because even people that don't have a reason to lie to me have been lying to me. Let's just put it that way. So, yeah, the phone ping was confirmed with LE Jen. It was. They told his mom, Jessica, that the phone pinged at 11 p.m. at the trailer park. And they've never found his phone. No, Don, they never found his phone. Yeah, no doubt. I know, Jen. I agree. They're very close. I mean, they're just it's so uncanny. Thank you so much for your super sticker, Jen. Thank you. I would be focused on the exact last place his phone pinged. Absolutely, Don. And where his phone pinged wasn't far away from where his last sent was either. You know? Aw, thanks, Lori. If Sabrina was out searching, she was probably looking in or around the trailer park where the phone pinged. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I know she said she went over there and knocked on the doors and, was looking door to door for him. But I don't think it was when the police were, because, uh, the police were already over there at 10:32 whenever the phone pinged at 11. And then I would imagine, well, from what they told me, is that one set of officers were dispatched over to Tamara's house, like to where Devlin lived, and then the other ones were dispatched over to where Sabrina was out, and that they met her over at the fire station, according to Sabrina. And again, this is all what they're telling me, their accounts of what happened, not necessarily what actually happened. Um, I agree. I agree, Joe. I agree. In my opinion, this connected to CPS allegedly. It's a common denominator. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, Cinderella. I think that they should never have put Devlin with the Tates ever. Never, ever. And as a matter of fact, it clearly states in the paperwork that neither household was fit to have Devlin there, but they didn't have anything else that they could do, which I don't believe that either. Um, where that accountability lies is on all parties involved. It really is. And I've said it before, with Tim Hatfield, he signed the birth certificate and Devlin was taken away from him as well. And he was allowed to have contact with Devlin after the fact, but Jessica wasn't. Right? So right there, it's very screwy and willy-nilly. There is a lot of terrain back there. There's a big field, and then there's also wooded areas, and then the creek, you know, that runs through there, Tupper Creek. So, um, where's the trailer park? It is called Lakewood Estates, Don, and it's in Lake Odessa. Do we know what he was wearing? Something warm enough for nighttime? Aw, that's sweet of you to ask that too, Coffee Crime and Cat. So he was wearing blue jeans, his cowboy boots, and he was wearing a hoodie, and it was a white t-shirt, according to what Tamara said. I've heard red and I've heard white. Who knows why Bill wanted to adopt? Oh, well, we know. Yeah, we know why Bill wanted to adopt him. Clearly, that was the intent. I think so. Yeah. The more I look at it, the more I think that too, Joe. I mean, in the beginning, I was wondering, why they would do that, why they would. No, April 21st, 2025. I was wondering why they would do that to their own family member instead of helping them. And there's your motive, right? If you just look at it like that, you say, why would they do that to their own family member, right? Meaning Tim Hatfield. And Tim Hatfield is yet to come out and speak in any capacity for Devlin. Well, and I think Faye, I do not think that his mother has guilty knowledge. I just think that there comes a time when you have to kind of let things go and just focus on finding Devlin. And I haven't been able to get people to kind of let things go and focus on what we need to do. Look, I don't care if you have to be on the phone and every time you get to the, prompt where you're sent over to somebody, press the button, talk to them, tell them they didn't know about Devlin before, but they will once you get off the phone with them, and they'll probably transfer you to the right place. You know, um, we have to do things that we don't like in order to see, different results. What's being done has for the last 7 months has not worked to find Devlin. So now we got to think outside of the box. So Indigo, Sabrina got a hold of Adventures with Purpose, and she said, hold on, I'll read the exact post just so I'm not, you know, getting it wrong because I have it. Someone sent it to me. Um, but basically she got a hold of Adventures with Purpose, and they told her that they can't go look, or they won't go look for Devlin unless he was in a car, because that's what they do. They go and look for cars with their sonar, and unless he was in the car and missing, then they typically won't help. But they were like, was he in a car? And question asked her a question, and she just said, okay, thank you, bye bye, and didn't, I mean, that's not, again, that's not trying at all. If they tell you, no, we can't help you because of this or that, you say, I understand that you only help with this or that, but could you please make an exception for my family member? That's called advocating. That's called trying to find your loved one. Not like, oh, okay, bye, thank you. Deedly moving right along. No, not okay. And I'm not gonna pat anybody on the back for that. That's ridiculous. But Adventures with Purpose, they also go after those big rewards too. They're not going to go out and look for $6,000. And if they do and I'm proven wrong, then hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. Because that's something I would love to be proved wrong on. But yeah, that was the general gist of it. I'll put it out because I have another video that I'm working on as well for Devlin. Um but yeah, it's like, I mean, his mom was notified. I have the last text message that she sent over to me from Devlin, and then she was notified um, of his disappearance, and that was corroborated with Matt and Sabrina too, that they called her and told her. Backwoods Search and Rescue did, they did search in the beginning, and I shared the SAR maps too, Don, and I can send them over to you if you want, to your email. But the problem is they won't go back out and search until they get a new lead, they said. And, in my opinion, Sabrina talking about how Devlin was in the water is a good lead, right? And that being confirmed, I don't know if they knew that or not, so even asking for another name of someone who does. Yeah, I agree. Coffee, Crime, and Cats. I mean, like, could you recommend someone who would look for someone in the water? Absolutely. But it was just, okay, never mind. Thanks for replying or whatever. Like, she didn't answer, excuse me, their question after they asked it. She didn't answer them back, at all. So I'll put it in the next video that I do with Devlin so you guys can see the exact response. Because again, I like to show you guys receipts, and I like to have you guys make up your own mind about it. You know? So because that's only fair. I mean, I could see something and think one way about it, and you guys could see it and think something totally different, and I welcome that because that's how we come up with new ideas and bounce ideas off of each other. So after we saw some messages from Devlin and his bio mom, I don't trust adopted mom Sandra either. Yeah, I don't either. I mean, and that's why I was trying to kind of keep her out of it a little bit more. But Tamara was sending me nasty emails and being like, "Oh, you're only trying to stick up for Jessica," but it's really quite to the contrary. You know, when someone is willing to share everything, and show me things, then I'm of course going to believe them when I have the receipts in front of me. It's just that. And when things don't add up with Jessica, I've had to grill her too. I have grilled her too. She didn't like it. I'm pretty sure she's still pissed off at me for it. Oh well, I'm here for Devlin. You know, that's just the way it goes. I'm not here for the parents. I mean, I'm asking you to give me information so I could help you find your loved one. That's what I'm up here for. So I can put the good story out there, especially when they want to say, "Well, you didn't get this right or you didn't get this right." Not Jessica, she hasn't said that, but I'm saying um, Tamara and them. But then there's all these discrepancies in their timeline and everything, which makes me feel like they're just projecting their negativity onto me. You know. Yeah, the SAR map, I could probably pull it up really quick. I'll show you guys the SAR map because I think I have it in my email. So give me a second. Oh, that's right. I downloaded them to my Google Drive. That's right. So I can pull them up on that. Oh, that's Michael Monkey Vaughn stuff. Sebastian. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Here they are. Okay, let me go ahead and share this so you guys can see it. Now, this is a way better SAR experience. I don't know how to say it better than we had with Sebastian's because you can see everything and you might have to pinch to zoom in. Can you guys see that all right over here? But everything's labeled as well. So, and you can see where they've done their searches right here. There's wooded areas up here, right? You have down here where they did searches. They flew some drones over the waters, but they've never done sonar to the best of my knowledge. But now you have to remember that these lakes over here are heavily fished. And many people have told me this, and they've said, look, Lady Freedom, these are very. I did send narc divers over to Jessica as well, along with a couple of the other ones. Um, Angels, what are they called? I'm sorry. Angel divers, I believe it's called. Yeah, they sure do. Yeah, they sure do. They go right through. Yeah, where his phone pinged at. Yeah. Yeah, they do. And I think you might have been heading home that day, Jen. And the reason why is because that would have been his route home over by the trailer park. But see all of these little spots. This is evidence. Evidence collected here. Evidence collected here. These dots. It's like Jen's hotspot. Evidence was collected there. All those little circles. All those little dots. Right? So you can see where there was ground searching and all of that. Well, see, the police couldn't get when they called at 10:32, it was going straight to voicemail. So then we got to think, okay, well then it pinged at 11 in the trailer park. Somebody had to have been manipulating his phone. Yeah, see what I mean, Lori? That's been our biggest issue. Well, I hope he is somewhere warm. Michigan is going to have a blizzard on Thursday, 12 to 24 inches. Yeah, that's why, when I'm pushing and pushing and pushing for searchers, it's because of that. Sabrina probably lied about calling the search group. No, she showed the response, Carrie. That's why I'll show it. Because it's in my phone. I'll show it so that way you guys can see it. I might even put it on a community post that way you guys can look at it. Um, so his scent stopped over. Canine Quinn grabbed his scent. Do I have it on this one? Yeah, no, it's on the other one. So Canine Quinn up here, the scent trail. So that was over by Bonanza Road and Tupper Creek. And that's Canine Quinn Trail right here. Right. And then we have this hot spot, right? We got this one down here as well. Yeah, it's getting cold out there, right? I mean, it's like, yeah, you get snow. I think he may have possibly been kidnapped by predators. He could have been, Joe. He could have been. That's the thing about Devlin is he had people that had access to him and he was very vulnerable. He was always constantly looking for a place to stay, you know? That's where it gets shady. His phone was barely keeping a charge and his phone wasn't reliable. I agree with that too, Jen. Absolutely. Absolutely. Lori, that's where I'm at with things. Okay, because I don't know, I can't do the cold, but then I'm like, oh, I am gonna miss, like the snow at Christmas and stuff. But other than that, I'm like, I'm good. No, his scent was found, or excuse me, yes, his scent. Sorry, I was going to the pings for some reason, Don. Yes, that's true. Yeah, north of the trailer park, um, northeast, I guess it would be. How does it align with my hotspots? I wonder. I don't know, Jen. I can send you over the. I can send this to you, so you could do an overlay or something. I believe a vehicle took him. Faye, I can't help but believe that either when that's what we know about losing a scent, right? Is that there had to have been some like a vehicle, right? That somebody got in a vehicle. And that's just, from our true crime days or whatever, for being in true crime. So Carrie loves the snow. Yeah, I mean, I did too. Like, I mean, obviously, growing up in Chicago, I mean, like, I love the snow when I was young, but, and then Missouri, they have like really bad ice storms, so it was like, ooh. But now I'm in Florida, so I don't have to worry about either one of those. Um, we haven't even gotten rain. I mean, at all. I believe that, Don. I believe that. And that's why it's so valuable to have someone like Jules who maybe could, have her dog sniff out electronics, because and it was also said that Devlin had two phones. So, oh, sorry, I'm getting back to Kiki. All right, thought, yeah, that's funny. Okay, I thought she was in my chat. All right. Oh, there you go, Joe. If I want to see the weather, I could just go ahead and see the weather cam. It was at Bonanza Road and Tupper Creek. Don, Bonanza Road and Tupper Creek. Yeah, northeast of the trailer park. I'm horrible with north, south, east, and west. I'm like, it was over to the right. It was to the right of the trailer park. It's 35 degrees with a real feel of 15. Brr, Brenda. Oh my goodness, Brenda. In my opinion, they took the phone at the trailer park for a distraction. I think so, because why would they tell the police exactly where the phone was going to ping? And do the police, I mean, come on. Are we to believe that that it's that easy? I mean, come on. They know better than that, I would think, Faye, but sometimes I lose faith a little bit because I'm like, because if somebody told me where the phone was gonna ping and it pings over there, I'm gonna be side eyeing you hard, buddy. And you could cry, scream, kick, and throw a fit all you want, but I'm still a side eyeing you. I lived in SoCal for years. I should have stayed. Aw. I heard it's really beautiful in Southern California. Lori says, Carrie, I lived in Michigan all my life. The snow is pretty, but I like the sand better. Yeah, me too, Lori. Plus, we have sandy beaches that look like, white snow. Aw, Cece misses the snow too. Oh, the suburbs, Joe, the suburbs. I'm from the burbs. Uh, Bob's Barn Jams, he didn't speak to on two phones. No, he said he had one phone and then he said he dropped the one phone on Fifth Ave and he couldn't um get it to work. It was turning black when he was trying to read the words or follow along with the words on a screen. So I know. I the last time I looked at the map, Jen, I saw 7 hot spots. So I'm really hoping that we can get someone to go look there. Yeah. Yeah. The canine officers didn't find his scent over at the laundromat. No. No, and they should have if he was there that morning, right? Because these SAR maps are really helpful. I mean, it's showing when everything was searched, right? 4/22/25 right here at 5:04 p.m. Look at that. And it shows who did it, who searched it, right? Look at that. That's all people's names, right? And their dog's names. Quinn is Canine Quinn. That's a dog. That's a police dog. Or they wouldn't be called canine whatever. I don't understand being so cruel to him and not letting him even charge his phone. That's terrible. Yeah, and I got a nasty email from Tamara about that. Saying that, it's not wrong to take a kid's phone, but it's wrong to take the electricity away. I said, to myself, because again, I'm not here to argue with the family. I'm here to present the facts. So, I've had to take my daughter's phone when she was younger. Yes, I have, right? So it's not about that. It's about cutting off all of his resources because he couldn't use your electric. He couldn't, your water was broken. You didn't have running water at the time. Look, Miss Mary wasn't the only one to say that. Whether you like it or not, it is what it is. Don't blame me because you didn't have running water. And then just because I say you didn't have the running water and you don't like to hear that you didn't have running water, all of a sudden you're mad at me. It doesn't work that way. You know, it wasn't about discipline, it was about power and control. And we're going to talk about power and control and a role with Sebastian Rogers. And we're going to compare it with Devlin and the food issues in that house. Brenda Calvert says, that's what I thought, Don B. I thought Jessica should try and find out if it was hard shut down or if it just died. The phone provider would have that info, in my opinion. Yeah, and to the best of my knowledge, that the police officers do know that information. If Tupper Creek is not deep, I would walk down to Tupper Lake Road. Yeah, Yeah. And that's the thing. Sometimes he would take that route. Sometimes just depended on, how fast he had to get home, you know? No, I wasn't part of the Latin Kings. Joe, are you crazy? Joe, I'm from the suburbs. Joe, Joe, what are you doing? Yes, I have 7 hotspots on his map. Bonanza and Christopher, where Tupper Creek is, hotspot. Thanks, Jen. Yeah, so we need to get those researched again. Because the land changes and we just need to get it searched again. And if backward search and rescue already searched it and they don't want to search it again, I understand that. So we just need somebody else to do it, Hopefully when Jules goes out there, she can do that. We absolutely love the snow. Summer is pretty amazing here too. Yeah. And it's like you appreciate the summers more, Carrie, when you have the seasons. I would too if he isn't there. Foul play, in my opinion. Yeah, I think it's foul play. I do. I do. Um, I do. Our sand is our snow, Lori. Is Tupper Lake Road on the way to home? Maybe Devlin was returning home and the vehicle snatched him. Yeah, Faye, it is. It is on his way home. Yes, it is. And sometimes he would walk that way. So, and if the scent is lost, that's the only thing that we can really kind of surmise, right? Is that um he was maybe snatched up. So, yeah, that area needs to be cleared first. I agree. Because that's where that's where he was last seen, Jen? Ah, I know snow for me. I used to live in SoCal. I miss it every day. Good night, Jen. Thanks so much for being here. So I'm going to show you guys this really quick too. So just bear with me on this because this is the kind of the last topic I want to discuss. And I just realized that I'm running a little bit late for a phone call that I needed to make tonight. So I will show you this really quick. And this is something that Justin from Clutch Them Pearls had, out and I shared before. So let's go ahead and watch really quick. It's only 3 minutes.
Or may have dismissed. But to me, it speaks volumes. We're looking into the Texas Roadhouse footage. The video was taken the evening before Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers went missing from his Hendersonville home in Tennessee. It shows Sebastian and his mother, Katie Proudfoot, sitting at the table at the restaurant. On the surface, it's just a mom and her son having dinner. Let's look closer because there's a particular moment that really caught my attention. In this clip, Sebastian reaches out innocently, casually, for another one of those famously hot rolls at Texas Roadhouse. You know, the ones that they give you that aren't optional. They come with the table. And then, watch closely. You'll see what looks like his mother scolding him. It's subtle, a hand movement, a sharp look, something she does with her mouth. But to me, this is just my opinion. It felt like a correction. And the way Sebastian jerks his arm back. On its own, it might be nothing. But when you zoom in and look at this moment in the context of the entire case, it sticks with me. Because here's what we know. Sebastian is autistic. He's a 15-year-old boy who had sensory sensitivities. Routines mattered. Comfort mattered. And something as small as being told not to take a warm roll, something familiar and something safe. And the bigger question is, was this about the role or was this about control? It's just one moment, but sometimes one moment tells a bigger story. Now, again, I'm not accusing anyone of anything, so let me be clear. In my opinion, there was clearly something about food about Sebastian, allegedly stored from behind his bed, the wrappers and all of that. And from what we've been told by people close to the family, Sebastian lived a very controlled life inside his house. And it also makes me wonder what else was happening behind the scenes that we didn't see. I'm not saying a role is evidence, but I am saying a pattern starts somewhere. And in this case, with much more silent and these few leads, sometimes it's the little moments that speak the loudest. A child, especially a child with autism, is reaching for comfort. And that response of control and discipline, it raises red flags, not criminally, but emotional ones, real ones. Was Sebastian allowed to self-soothe? Was he allowed to eat when he was hungry? Was he nurtured or just managed?
All right, guys, I think those are all good questions. So, complimentary role was denied to Sebastian. We saw it, right? You could watch it over and over and over and over and over again. She gives him a look, she says something to him, and he pulls his hand away from the basket as if she's about to slap his hand away from it. You know, we have in Sebastian Rogers' case, his mother Katie being quoted to say he was rummaging in the cabinets for snacks, right? How do you rummage for snacks in your own house? You don't. You don't. Brenda, it breaks my heart. You know, you don't. And when there's complimentary rolls that are being brought to the table and she can grab two with her fat sausage fingers, that bothers me a lot. When you look at Sebastian and he was incredibly thin, in my opinion, and then you just say, nope, nope, you're not allowed to have any rolls. I get two and you get none. What mother does that? Because Sebastian, being a 15-year-old boy, he just turned 15 December 7th. This was on February 25th, 2024. He's a growing boy. He's not overweight, right? So it's not a health issue, in my opinion. It's about power and control. It bothers me so much, Jen, you know, and I just had to bring it in and talk about it again because it's just what we have on camera. We don't have what happened to Devlin on camera. But we know that he was denied food in the house and had to use his own bridge card to buy his own food. And then if somebody bought him something, like Sandra bought him, from the best of my knowledge that Tamara told me, peanut butter, bread, milk. But he wasn't allowed to eat it, according to some sources. According to some sources, he was kept from food. Brenda Calvert says he was a bottomless pit, the Foot said, about 115-pound Sebastian. Right. And Devlin was losing weight, you guys. He had more meat on him, and closer to his disappearance, he was losing weight. She can afford to give up those roles, in my opinion. She certainly can, Chuchi. She certainly can. You know, maybe she shouldn't have ordered an extra basket. He was eating his food like he was starving, too. Oh my gosh, he shoveled it in his mouth so fast, Shadow. I mean, just like he was famished. Thank you, Don. I agree. The truth will come out eventually. OMG, I didn't caught that. Oh boy, yeah. Yeah. It's sad, Faye. I feel like he was very, very hungry at the table. You know, we hear that he made spaghetti pancakes with Katie that morning, according to her. And then they went over and ate a colossal popcorn, but then they never ate lunch. She never talks about eating lunch, so he probably was very hungry. Food is an issue in a lot of the time in these poor kids' cases, in my opinion. It is, Brenda. All we have to do is look at little Renesmee Yutzi. They starved her. They starved her brother so badly that the kid was emaciated and couldn't eat. And if he ate, it would kill him. That's how badly he was starved. Let's not forget all these other cases out here. When food is an issue, that's a huge red flag. When food is withheld, that's a huge red flag. When love is withheld, it's a huge red flag. The opposite of love is indifference. The opposite of love is withholding anything. So don't tell me that these kids weren't abused. They most certainly were. Ruby Frank, Tim Ferguson, right? Absolutely. Timothy Ferguson was systematically starved and tortured by his mother and his big brother, Paul, right? Shonda Vander Ark. So intelligent that she put herself through law school. So intelligent that she was the smartest in her class. Yet she is buying the hottest hot sauce that they can find on the internet with her son and feeding it to her younger son on bread. Cold pizza rolls. That's what he got. They watched him on the camera to make sure that he never ate. And and Paul would report back to his mommy. Ruby Frank, thank you, Cinderella. Ruby Frankie, thank you, Cinderelli. Another one, systematically abusing and torturing her children. One of them got away and ran to the neighbor's house emaciated, and he still had duct tape all over the child. When there's food withheld, it's abuse. It's power and control. No comfort in that. No love. No care. Lori, that's true. Some people are skinny and they can eat all they want. That's very true. That's very true. And, sometimes we have to make sure, but when we see that on camera, we can see that that's not the case, That's just not the case. Oh, she's trying to get a new trial. Oh, well, maybe she's putting that law degree to good use for herself. Wow, Shadow. I don't know why I'm not surprised by that. Thanks for letting us know, though. I wasn't aware of that. Faye says, I wish karma would find all these monsters. I think it will. It always shows their ugly heads. Women's Warrior says, hey, Lady Freedom, fellow mods in chat. Good to see you. Hope everyone's well today. God bless you. Thank you, Women's Warrior. I hope you're having a great holiday. I'm down to 240. Joe says my mom is mean. Goodness sakes. The Turpin children. Thank you, Coffee Crime and Cats. Yeah, again, one of the Turpin children got out and told. But they were all, and and then after they were taken out of the house of horrors that they were in with their parents, they were all sent to different foster homes who treated them like dirt too and abused them. And then we wonder why society is so screwed up. We wonder why there are all these issues. It's because all of our children have been abused growing up. And then what kind of a person do they turn into? Some of them break the cycle, some of them don't. Some of them end up missing. Poof. They just vanished into thin air. Aliens came and got them. No. That's not it either. Huge red flag, Lori, and it's so sad. And the part that really bothers me is they want to turn around and say they weren't being abusive. Are you kidding me? Well, then what do you call it? What do you call it? Because it's not love, it's not care, it's not compassion. It's a house of horrors. And in my opinion, that's what Devlin and Sebastian lived in, was a house of horrors. And you expect me to feel sorry for the adults that made them live in that house of horrors? Not gonna do it. Shadow says the Turpin mom is in the women's prison about 30 minutes from me. Yikes. Shadow. Oh my gosh. And I mean, that lady was something else. I mean, that family was very dysfunctional, to say the least. You know, a bunch of monsters. All right, guys. Well, I hate to cut it short tonight because this is a topic that I think we need to explore more, and we will. But I do have to try to make a phone call tonight, so I'm going to do that. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day tomorrow if you're cooking or if you're baking or if you're spending some time with family or you're shopping, because I know a lot of people like to do that. Don't forget to look up above and thank God for what we have, right? Because as bad as it is, we can always look up and say thank you for what we have, and that's right, women's warrior. You're not in the United States. The UK doesn't have Thanksgiving. Aw, well, get a turkey, girl. Get a turkey. You can still do Turkey Day. No, I'm just kidding. She says, "Have a wonderful holiday. I love your way of going all out for Halloween and Christmas." Thank you. I will. I'm gonna also do a Thanksgiving special because I'm not gonna be cooking this year. I'm just gonna go out to eat and, you know, um, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, his biggest problems were well, and the thing is, Faye, is as we're seeing it unravel, it was more people in Devlin's life that were trouble for him, causing a problem for him. Thank you, little Miss Sharon. So happy Thanksgiving, Linda Hall. Thank you. Tomorrow I'll be going tomorrow, Carrie. I will. And I'm trying. I was gonna do a day show today, but then again, I ended up falling asleep. Um, I did. I just fell out. So I was like, okay, I'll just go on like a middle. That's why I did like an earlier show tonight. But but yeah, I need to get that out with the Adventures with Purpose because I do have that and I do remember seeing that. Good night, Chuchi. Good night, Little Redo. Happy Thanksgiving, you guys. And thank you for being here. Like I said, we're gonna do a Thanksgiving special too. So I will be on Thanksgiving. So, I'll be on late night when you guys are all done. Hopefully we don't have you guys falling asleep in chat because of the tryptophan and the turkey. So good night, good night. Thank you guys. It's a whack job. Oh Lord. Thank you for being here, Detroit. Thank you, thank you. Love you too. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Faye. I'll talk to you guys later.